All right, remember you can only multiply 2 of them at a time. So it doesn't matter which 2. I'm just going to choose those 2. There's different methods of multiplying. We could do FOIL. So I could do x times x times 2, negative 2 times x, negative 2 times 2. And I go and I combine my like terms. In the middle terms, they add up to be 0, so they cancel out. And then I need to bring down x squared plus 4. Now we have to multiply those together. When I go to multiply those together, I could use my FOIL method again if I want. Or maybe I'll just show you a different method, which I probably showed you in class maybe. I think I did. Remember there's this box method if you'd like to use this. There's an x squared minus 4. And then the other side there would be an x squared and a plus 4. So then you just fill out the grid where you multiply x squared times x squared, which is x to the 4th. You do x squared times minus 4, so minus 4x squared. X squared times 4, so that would be 4x squared. And then negative 4 times positive 4 would be minus 16. And then usually, not every single time, but usually, the ones that we do, these two will add together if they have the same exponent. So we'll have x to the 4th. What happens when I add minus 4x squared and positive 4x squared? They cancel out. We get minus 16. Kind of seems weird because everything like canceled out, but that's okay. So that's what we did last class. So we have done addition, subtraction, multiplication. So today, division. That's right. You remember how to divide? Let's try. No? Okay. Well, I'll review with it. But let's try on that worksheet that I passed out to you. Warm up number 1. If you've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, don't worry. We're about to get into the rigorous stuff. But let's go over 1, 2, 3, 4 really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. The answer for number 1 is not x cubed. There are these rules that you were taught, and you just like memorize some stuff, but you're not actually thinking about why those rules exist, and then you think of them wrong. You forget them. You mix them up. It happens all the time. So I'm going to go over how we got those rules to help you remember. So when you are taking x squared and you divide by, x to the 6 and divide by x squared, what does x to the 6 really mean? And they're all what? Okay, so this means x times x times x times x times x times x divided by x times x. And then when we're dividing them, if we are multiplying and dividing by the same number, what happens? Okay? And then I'm left with x to the 4th. So what is the rule for division? You subtract exponents. So some of us divided them. If you're not sure, think about why it is subtraction. Like, expand it. And if there's like x to the 20th, don't draw 20 of them. Just like think about 20 of them written out and like however many underneath. That's the rule. When you are dividing, you subtract the exponents. Now, what happens if we have a coefficient? You do not think of the coefficient related to the x's at all. You completely separate it from the exponents, or from the x's. Completely separate it. What's the coefficient on the bottom? 1. So you're doing negative 4 divided by 1. Like, totally just that's the number. Negative 4 divided by 1 is negative 4. And then we look at our x's. We got x to the 5th over x squared. So you're not sure of the rules. If you forget the rules, you think about writing x divided by x. How many are left over when you cross them out? X to the 3rd. So here, we've got numbers next to variables. Separate them. What's 10 over 2? And then x squared over x. So that last one, do it on your own, if you haven't already. You guys already done? All right, let's see if you did it right. We take 2 divided by 1, and we take x by 9 divided by x. That's x to the 8. See, division's gonna be so easy, huh? Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Okay. The division's simple. Do you know what that division symbol is? It is. Who told you that? Nobody told me till like last year. I'm not even kidding. Did anybody not know that? This is a fraction. This is a number divided by a number. It's a fraction. Is that new to you? Yeah. I learned that last year, no joke. I never knew that before. Huh? Okay. If I were doing something like 30 divided by 365, no, into 365. 365 divided by 30. Said it wrong, sorry. What would you do? Do you remember?
How many times 30 goes into 36?
Yeah, you'd look at 30 going into 36. You're just looking at a piece of it. That's kind of what we're going to be doing here. We are going to have to use long division. Not sure if you saw that in the directions. We're going to be using long division because of what it looks like. But you are going to kind of go through those steps that you did back in 4th grade for long division. We might need to review that in a moment. What I want to show you is these polynomials, they do look like numbers that you are familiar with. It's just there's x's instead of the numbers. So this 365, I'm going to write as a polynomial. 365 is 300 plus 6 tens plus 5 ones. Right? 300, this is the same thing as 10 squared plus 6 times 10 plus 5. Doesn't that kind of look like our polynomials that we're doing? It's just, in this case, x is 10. In our polynomials, we don't know what x is. You see how they look the same? So you've done this before, you just haven't done it in a form that looks like this. And it's not difficult. You ready to learn?
Yes.
Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to review how to do long division, and we're going to review that with watching a 4th grade class. Do it. All right. I'm going to pause. I don't need to record. This is a video, so I don't need to record a video that already exists. But if somebody does not see this video, they totally need to. Oops, don't. What did I just do? No. Okay. See there. So we got our wrap, and we're going to apply that. So we've got our first question here, and before we start, what I always look for is something that you don't really have as many problems with when you use problems like this. You don't have as many problems with, but I'll give you an example. If I were doing something like, I don't know, 55 into 607, what's the middle mean? Does it mean, I mean, that's the tens place, but does this mean 10? No. This would be like 600 plus how many tens? Or 600, sorry. Plus how many tens? It would be like 0 tens, right? Plus 7 ones. So what you want to look for is you want to look for any missing things first. Because if you have missing stuff, it may cause you complications. So we're going to look. And we're going to look at both the divisor and the dividend. We're going to look at both of them. Do we have any powers that are missing? And when I say powers that are missing, I don't mean higher than the highest power, because they're all missing. We're not going to go to infinity. I mean, from the highest power all the way down to the constant. Are we missing any of those powers?
And wait, never mind.
What are we missing?
Are you saying all together in both of those
What I mean is like, here's x to the fourth, here's x to the third, here's x to the first. I skipped some. I'm missing x squared. So we were actually, when we rewrite this, we're going to put in a 0x squared. We're going to have a 0 in that placeholder. Am I missing anything in the second polynomial, x squared and x to the first, and no x's? We're good on that one. What about the... Oh, you do not have to go higher. Only going lower. Yeah, because if we go higher, we could go to infinity, you know, and beyond. So I'm going to rewrite this so it looks like a long division question, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space at the top. Heads up, not some space up there. So I'm going to have out here x squared plus 3x. I'm on the screen. And then underneath 2x to the fourth plus 3x cubed plus 0x squared plus 5x minus 1. And then I say, what's our first step? Divide. Okay, so just like when we had that 30 divided by 365, I only took the 30 into the 36. I didn't take it into the whole thing. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're not going to take everything divided. There's no way. I'm just going to look at the first term into the first term. So I'm going to divide 2x to the fourth by x squared. And if you don't know what that is by just looking at it, then write it down off to the side. What is 2x to the fourth divided by x squared? When we reduce that, what do you get? Which is why we did those warm-ups, so you don't mess that part up. So that is our first step. Divide. What's our next step? Multiply. Multiply. Oh, we should probably write those steps down just in case we forget. So we've done divide. We're now about to do multiply. When I multiply this 2x squared times the entire divisor, the entire number that is out here. That means I have to distribute 2x squared. So I'm going to have 2x squared times x squared. That's 2x to the fourth. Next, I'm going to have 2x squared times 3x. So 2 and 3 is 6. X squared times another x is x to the third. You see how it matches the exponent right above? Then I'm going to do 2x squared times 2. So that's 4x squared. And if you've done everything correct so far, it should match your exponents right above it. Okay. So we're distributing what we divided, what we got when we divided, to the entire trinomial out there. Because we can multiply the whole number. So now, when we multiply that, what is our next step? Subtract. So our next step, I'm going to write up here, is subtract. Right? So you have to subtract this entire trinomial. Personally, I don't like to think subtraction. I like to think adding the opposite. That's what I like to think. I think it's easier. So what I do is, as soon as I draw the line, I change the signs. I draw my line, I change the signs. How can we remember that? Draw the line, change the signs. How can we remember that? Okay, perfect. So it's like another song or a rap. That's my rap. Draw the line, change the signs. No? Okay. Now I'm going to add the opposite. It's already opposite, so I'm adding it. That's the same thing as subtracting. So those will cancel out. I get negative 3 x to the thirds. And I get minus 4 x to the second. So that's just subtraction, which you guys did for the last lesson. So we did divide, multiply, and subtract. What comes next? Bring it on down and bring it on down. So what am I bringing on down? Plus 5x. Then we repeat the process same exact thing, new polynomial to use. So we're going to start with divide. So I take this x squared, just the x squared, into the negative 3x to the third. So if I don't know what that is by looking at it, I go over here and I say, what is negative 3? X to the third divided by x to the second. What does that leave me with? Negative what? Negative 3x. So that's divide. What's next? Do we need to watch it again?
Multiply.
Multiply. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this negative 3x. And I'm going to distribute it to all three terms out here. The negative 3x. So I get negative 3x times x squared, negative 3x cubed. I get minus 9x squared. And I get minus 6x. That was me multiplying by negative 3x. What comes after multiply? Subtract, draw the line, change those signs. That's our subtract. Okay, so we're going to subtract. We're going to have negative 3x, and then when I end up adding 3x cubed, those cancel out. Here we have 5x squared, and then plus 11x. So after subtract, what do? Bring it on down, and bring it on down. We get negative 1 out there. Now we... Hey, I already know how to do this. Come on, guys. Learn it. Now we... divide. So we're going to divide x squared into 5x squared. What if I can't do that just in my head? No, you cannot type in x squared on the calculator. Put them on top of each other. Make it look like division. 5x squared over x squared. What does that give me? That gives me 5. Now multiply. So I'm going to distribute that 5 to all three terms. 5x squared plus 15x plus 10. Subtract. Draw the line. Change the sign. We get negative 4x minus 11. What's my next step? It would be bring it on down, but there's nothing to bring down. So that's how you know you're done. There's nothing else to bring down. So now we're going to write our quotient, which is the answer to the division problem. However, what is this thing down here? No, the whole thing.
It's not 0.
It's not 0, so what is it?
It's a pressure.
There's an R. Remainder. We have a remainder. So how we're going to write that, I'm going to take you back to, things that are familiar. How we're going to write a remainder in this case would be, if I had a question that was, I don't know, like 17 divided by 3, that doesn't go in evenly. Well, how many times does 3 go into 17 like evenly? 5, and what's the remainder? But how do we write that when it's a mixed number? Where did this 3 come from? What 3?
It's divided.
Oh, it's because
It's what it's divided by. That's the divisor. That is what you divide by. And what's the 2? That's the remainder. So we put the remainder over the divisor. However, when we put them next to each other, some of you forget what that really means. So I'm here to remind you that 5 2/3 is the exact same thing. I ran out of space going up here. Is 5 plus 2/3 more. 5 2/3 means 5 plus 2/3. So we're going to write our polynomial like this. Our remainder is going to go adding the remainder over the divisor. That's how we're going to write our polynomial. You ready? So I take my quotient from up here. We have 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. Then we do plus. We have our remainder, which is negative 4x minus 11 over, I'm off the screen, thank you. Oh, geez. Over our divisor, x squared plus 3x plus 2. So I have what we had on top of our division line plus the remainder over the divisor. This is not difficult, but it's easy to make silly mistakes. So let's try another one. Okay? Ready? Do we need to dance first? First thing I want to look for, are we missing any of the powers? No. Oh yeah, we are.
I thought they have to be on both sides.
What I mean by the powers is, start with x to the fourth, go all the way down to no x's, and see if there's any missing here. And x to the third is missing. So now let's go over here, totally different question. Start at x squared, go all the way down to no x's. Are we missing any over here? Okay. So that's when I'm talking about missing. I'm just like individually polynomials, are we missing any of them? Okay. So now we're going to set it up. Which one goes on the outside?
Go on the one farthest to the
Left or right?
Right.
Yeah, that one goes on the outside. Our first step is divide. So I'm going to divide the first term. If you don't know how to do x to the fourth divided by x squared, then do it off to the side. What is it?
X squared.
Then we multiply. X squared times x squared is x to the fourth. X squared times minus x is minus x to the third. X squared times 1 is x squared. What's next? Subtract. So if I draw the line, I should change my signs. Then I can just add them. And then we
Bring it down.
bring it on down and bring it on down to minus m. We repeat the process. I would encourage you to work ahead of me. I'm going to sit up here and act like this still, but you guys work ahead if you can. X squared goes into x to the third. So I'm going to take x to the third and I'm going to divide it by x squared and get x. Then I multiply. X times x squared is x to the third. X times minus x is minus x squared. X times 1 is x. After we multiply, we subtract. So I'm going to draw the line, change the signs. And then bring on down that plus 5. If you worked ahead of me, you should have 2x squared minus 2x plus 5 before going up. Then I'm going to repeat it again because I still have to keep going until I have nothing to bring down. X squared into 2x squared is 2. With 2x squared minus 2x plus 2. Draw the line, change the signs. I get a remainder and nothing else to bring down, so I am done. I just need to write it. Scoot it over, but not be off the screen this time. X squared plus x plus 2 plus my remainder over x squared minus x plus 1, which was what we divided by, our divisor. When you are finished, flip the page over and try 3 and 4. When you are finished, flip the page over and try 3 and 4. Numbers 3 and 4. Try 3 and 4. You can try 1 later. Try 3 and 4 first. You can try 1 later. Try 3 and 4. I'm going to pause this video.